So Cynthia, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Telling us about your story and about your experience. The first question I want to ask is just kind of back up to where you were before you started treatment with us. Just tell us about your history with the jaw dysfunction and the TMD issues that you've had.
By the time I got to see you, I was miserable. My pain every day was a Motrin day, and some days were an ER day. You know, that would happen. In terms of lifestyle, because my dysfunction was so bad, chewing, eating, nothing, that was not, no. My diet went from, eating what everybody else can eat to like 15% of what people can eat. It went from your friends inviting you out to lunch to me having to think, what are they going to have that I can eat? And as it turns out, when you socialize with people, everybody wants to go eat. And if you're sitting there with your bowl of soup and everybody else is talking about their delicious salad or their steak, and they're like, hey, you want to try some? And you're like, no, I don't want that pain. So by the time I got to you guys, I was in pretty bad shape. Prior to that decline, it was a process probably over the last 20 years. And it started simple migraines that were diagnosed as migraines, not TMD migraines. Those eventually went away. Then I would have what I thought were sinus infections all the time. So always on antibiotics and always this pain. And I was always like, I'm not having the symptoms that you would have for a sinus infection except pain here. So that's what they treat you for. So you think, oh, great, now I have sinus infections all the time. Then it would move to ear pain, where I thought I had ear infections. They're like, your ears look fine. I'm like, why do they hurt? Then my ears felt full, all the time, like you're in an airplane and you want to pop your ears. That is more miserable than you really think it would be. It seems like it's really minor, but when you have it, you're walking around going, this is driving me crazy. Then we finally kind of moved into dizzy spells. The first one was the worst. That was 4 months, 24/7 dizzy. That was so bad at that point. My goal was to find out what caused that, how to never have that again.
So Cynthia, tell us about where you are now with your symptoms and with your jaw function, and just how everyday life is going while you're in treatment right now.
Night and day from when I first got here. If before it was 15% out of 100% foods are available to me, I'm up to like 60, 65%. I haven't gone crazy, but
Sure.
It's, the horizon is like opened again. Like there's things that I will eat now. We had pizza last night, not a normal thing for me to do. I'm having like chocolate dipped pecans and things that I had just given up as, no, you can't have that. And that's huge. That's just a huge thing, because when you don't really think about eating, you don't really think about food that much until you have to. And then when you're, it's like the age old, what's for dinner? And you're the one sitting there going, oh, I can't go there. They've only got like chicken broth. And you're like, I need a soup that's a little heartier, but not too difficult to chew. And people are like, come on, can't you do something else? So now it's amazing. I get up, I don't think, where's the Motrin? I don't think, where's my heating pad? I get up and I think, what am I going to get done today?
Yeah.
And that's amazing. I don't worry, like, what are we having for dinner? When that question comes up, I'm like, hey, you guys decide. I can find something wherever you're going. And that's great.
I guess, so the last question, and this kind of speaks to your experience when you first came in. Can you tell us how important the education and the time spent in those first couple of appointments impacted your decision, and how did those appointments make you feel about about the treatment process?
My first appointment, which is like the 2-hour appointment where I'm discussing things with Lisa, who I think is amazing. Lisa is so wonderful at A, listening, B, understanding where I'm coming from and where I want to get to, and then being able to take everything that you guys have available to do and lay it out for me and say, okay, if your goal is to eat without pain, this is what your jaw's doing, this is why you're hurting. We believe if we do X, Y, Z, We can put your jaw in a position where you're not in pain. We can, show you how this is going to work, and we can make you feel better. And Lisa just has a gift for hand-holding you through the process without making you feel like a crybaby, without making you feel like, oh, there's something horribly wrong with me. Instead, she's very like, I understand where you're coming from. We have solutions. We can show you all of these options, and you can take the baby steps you need to get where you're comfortable, and we can get you feeling better. There's just not as much known about TMD as a lot of other things in our body, and we're still figuring things out. So it's important to have confidence in the person that's taking care of you. It's important to have to have confidence in the process. And if you don't, I think, the first few steps when you get uncomfortable because things are changing, if you're not confident, you're going to back out.
That's right.
You're going to be like, no, this is worse. I'm leaving. But the fact that I knew everything we were doing was like, we're testing. It's like, this is our hypothesis. Let's test it. And like those first couple of days, I'm thinking, I'm like, nope, this is not great. Day 3, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is working, and each day after is like better and better and better. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I stuck with this. But if you had come to me and been like, we're going to do all this permanent stuff to you right away and just bear with it, I would have been like, no. Yeah. I would have been like, yeah, I'm in pain, but it could get worse. I don't want it to get worse. So you guys, the technology, the skill, and the ability to explain all that to me, huge. And I just can't. It is such a big deal to not be in pain and to feel better and to have confidence. Like, I am super excited about phase 2. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I want this stuff. I'm like way down the road in my head, 2-3 years from now, like, this is all done and I'm pain free and I can be like, yes, that was that. We're going forward now. I'm very excited about that.